hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change.
Hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new video, and today I am reviewing Black Adam.
It's about drive, it's about power. We stay hungry, we devour.
Sorry, I'm so excited. This movie finally came out yesterday and I got to see it. And is it good? One sec. Yeah, I'd say it's pretty good. Black Adam is directed by, one sec, Jamie Colette Serra. Black Adam about Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam. He was imprisoned for thousands of years and brought back to modern society after he's accidentally released by a couple of researchers. And his one mission is exact justice upon the ones who deserve it, but also tussling with the JSA, a team of superheroes that are brought in to stop him from destroying the world. I watched this movie yesterday, and oh my god, I want to talk about it. Because this was one of those movies I was unironically excited for. Like, it's a meme because it's Black Adam, and all you look at when you see it... This isn't Black Adam, this is Dwayne. So, it was pretty funny when this movie got announced, and I was just so excited to see this movie. Me and my buddies, he wore a fancy get-up, so we went into the movie theater and we watched it. I was so excited for this movie, but I was also scared when I saw the reactions that people were saying, this movie isn't great. Well, did we watch the same movie? This movie's not going to win any Oscars, but oh my god, this movie is so much fun. I frickin' had a blast with this movie, and I was so scared that I wasn't. Oh my god, you're shaking, like... God damn it. But no, this movie is so much fun. Oh my god. I'm gonna start with some of the good things, I'm gonna go to the bad. Let's just talk about the good things right now, though. The action in this movie is so much fun to watch. And I was really concerned about that, because honestly, I'm not a huge fan of like these giant CGI mess battles that don't mean anything, and they're not well put together, and it's just random stuff happening, and just random CGI. And I was really scared, because the trailers made it look a lot like that, and that's what it was going to be. But honestly, I had such a great time with this action. It was well put together. I liked all of Black Adam's powers, and I loved all the GSA's members' powers, and I loved all their fights with him, and I loved their fights with the villain, which I'll talk about in a bit. And it was just so much fun to watch, and it was just so entertaining to a point where I unironically just loved it so much. I loved it so much. And I want to talk about it. Black Adam, or Dwayne Johnson, is awesome in this movie. There's some scenes where he kind of comes off as kind of like a meme. Like, he's really overdoing it, this, like, badass persona. But honestly, it was so much fun to watch. And I can't even, like, complain about it, because it was just so much fun. And he also brought this fish out of water element to the character, which I also thought was really cool. I actually thought it was pretty funny as well. And I just really liked his performance in general. Going on to the JSA, Hawkman, he was pretty cool. Wasn't anything I was expecting. They go for this very brute, very leader-like, just, I'm gonna get this done sort of demeanor, and I liked it. But I thought, honestly, Hawkman was kind of the weakest out of the main group of them, in my opinion, because he was cool, but he wasn't as cool as I was hoping he'd be. And then, like, Atom Smasher was okay. They used him as comedic relief in this movie, and if that's what he was serving, which he was serving, I thought he was alright. He made me laugh. I liked his powers a lot. Even though his suit looks a lot like Deadpool's, which is really weird, I still was able to just, like, pass that and just accept it for what it was, and I really liked him. And also Cyclone I thought was nice. I don't have that much to say about her, but I thought her powers were cool, and I thought when they had her doing action in this, like, slow-mo type style, I actually enjoyed it, because, spoiler alert, I don't like slow motion in movies that much anymore, because it's really overdone and it overplays it, and I think it just overstays its welcome. But in this movie, I actually really liked the slow-mo. I honestly thought that it was really well done, and it was pretty badass the way they were presenting it. But oh my god, can we talk about Pierce Brosnan for a minute as Dr. Fate? I absolutely loved him in this movie. I am a huge fan of the Dr. Fate character from the comics, and seeing that he was going to be adapted into this movie made me even more excited, because I was really hoping they'd do him justice, and my god, they did him justice. I loved Pierce Brosnan so much. He brought that that charismatic attitude to the character, that mysterious, like, wise figure. I just loved it, and his powers were so cool to watch in the action scenes, and it was just so, like, visually just so pleasing, and hearing him say all these things that Dr. Fate would say, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was awesome. He was my favorite character in the movie by far. I wish it was literally just a Dr. Fate movie. That would have been amazing. But he was so good in the movie, and I love Pierce Brosnan for putting on a truly excellent performance as him. So fucking happy. I'm sorry. I'm so happy. Oh my god. But I actually want to go into the comedy a little bit more. This movie actually is pretty funny. Like, I wasn't expecting. I thought it was going to be a very dark, very serious movie. And it wasn't really. Like, it went for the more campy, goofy side of things. And frick it, I loved it. Honestly. I just thought it was so much fun. Genuinely such a great time. I was laughing constantly. Except for maybe moments they probably didn't want me to laugh. I was laughing a lot at Dwayne Johnson's performance, as his facial expressions were either angry or kind of a smirk, kind of happy. It just cracked me up, but I still liked it. I still had a really good time with the film. Also, the soundtrack. I think the soundtrack just perfectly encapsulates everything goofy about this movie. Like, there's some songs that play in the action scenes that people would say, like, oh, that doesn't work, or that's stupid. It is stupid, but it's stupid in a fun way. And I really enjoyed it, and it just kind of added to the moment. And I just really liked it. And I cannot stop talking about the action in this movie, because it's fantastic. And I also want to talk about some of the designs. All the designs were fantastic, in my opinion. Especially, and this is actually shocking, Sabak. Sabak is the villain. And he was really, really cool to look at. He had some really cool powers. I really dug his design. I really liked the last fight scene with him and Dwayne. I thought it was awesome. I'm going to talk more about the villain in a sec, because I actually don't have some very nice things to say about him besides the action, but we'll talk about that in a second. And also, the main plot of the movie I thought was okay. It was very surface level. You saw where it was going immediately from the time you sat in the theater. But I thought it was fun. Like, honestly, I didn't think it was that bad. Like, it went for a very stereotypical superhero film that probably should have been released 10 years ago, but hey, it's out now, and honestly, I don't think it does it necessarily awful. I'm saying that loosely. But honestly, I think that's where my kind of positives end with this movie. I know that's kind of like a bad sign, but like, man, some other things in this movie really bring it down, unfortunately. I want to talk about some of the, like, side characters that are, like, the human characters in this movie. I'm sorry, they're all awful. They're not interesting, I didn't enjoy them in the movie, and they brought the movie so much, like, they just brought it down. They tanked it in certain scenes where I just didn't care, you know? Like, I was hoping that this movie would just be Dwayne Johnson going into the real world after being asleep for thousands of years, and him discovering, like, all this new stuff, but it's not that. And it just really, really bugged me. I hated these characters. They weren't interesting. And I just really wish they would just stop talking and just let it be more of a fight scene. Because that's where the movie shines. And honestly, that's all it should have been, honestly. And oh my god, I hate to say this, to hate on kid actors, but every single time, you'll know if you see this movie, one of these kid actors is so annoying, and he knows so much, and he tries to be such a focal point in the movie that it just comes off as annoying. And I absolutely despised him in this movie. I hated the kid. If they would have got rid of the kid character, the movie would have become so much better, because what they're doing here is they're trying to make this, like, John Connor type story, like in Terminator, with this big brute and this little kid. And it just didn't work, because, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be an ass, I didn't like his performance. I thought his acting was pretty bad at some times. It wasn't charismatic, wasn't likable, and it just came off as annoying. And the ADR moments with him were incredibly noticeable, and I absolutely hated it. I also want to talk about the villain too, Sabak. Like I said, he looks cool, but my god, from a villain point of view of motivation and just, you know, basic character stuff.
Say, in all honesty, it's the biggest piece of dog shit that I have ever heard.
This character is abysmal. He has none of that. No character whatsoever. He's literally just the bad guy for being the bad guy. And you can see the twist coming with him a mile away. I'm not going to spoil it, but literally the first time you see his character, and you will see it in the movie because they make it painfully obvious, it's just so obvious, and his motivation is just not good. It's such basic bones crap, and I was really let down by that. I was really hoping that we'd have some decent, like backstory with this character, but there was just nothing, and it was really sad to see, unfortunately. And another thing with this movie that I want to say is that I really was not a fan of the pace of this movie. This movie is going a million miles a minute. I understand it's actually a decently long film. It really didn't feel like that, though, because they were going to so much, so quickly, and it was almost kind of exhausting. It honestly felt like they were just trying to get to the Black Adam portion of the movie where he's doing these crazy fight scenes, because they knew that's where the film was going to thrive. And they were right for saying that, because it 100% is where the film thrives. And honestly, I just wish they would have went into that more, and just kind of slowed the movie down, and just let it go at its own pace, and it just didn't do that. It was so fast, and it was kind of jarring at a point, and it made everything so damn messy from a plot point of view, and it felt like there was just way too much going on. There are key things that I can think of right off the top of my head, without spoiling it, that would have made this movie better. If they would have took out those human characters and made it more about Black Adam as a character, and made him his realization of what the world's become, maybe go more into his origin and, like, Kahndaq's history. Because I will say that too, the beginning of the movie, it's not good. It goes for this really ugly color palette at the beginning, and it just looks ugly, and it's very melodramatic and cheesy, and it's just kind of like one of those things like, I understand what you're trying to do, but this is too much, man, and this is not the way to do it effectively. You know what's kind of sad, though, is that I had more fun with this movie than Thor: Love and Thunder. I liked Black Adam more than Thor: Love and Thunder. What timeline are we living in that this is the case? It's so weird to me. It's so fucking... Don't believe the reviews. Don't let these Rotten Tomato critics get your hopes up. This movie really isn't as bad as they say it is, and I'm going to give this movie a solid 7 out of 10. It is incredibly fun to watch with so many great action sequences, likable characters, and good comedic moments that push the film from being bad. And honestly, it is pretty bad, like from a plot point of view, like not a whole lot makes sense. It's very rushed. But honestly, who cares? Who cares? This is a movie about Dwayne Johnson as a superhero. I don't think anyone was hoping that this, like, not hoping, I was hoping, but expecting this movie to be like the next Dark Knight, like people were saying at the beginning when people first started saying it. No. This movie is just an incredibly fun superhero movie. But that's going to be it from me for this video. Thank you for watching my review of Black Adam. Please subscribe and like the video down below. It really shows your support to the channel. And I'm going to see you in the next one.